believe that and I've seen this, we saw it when the Supreme Court justice was being interviewed, where she said, she was on the board for that private school and said, well, I don't know about the curriculum. How could you be on the board of any school? What do you do if you don't know what your curriculum is? I think that would be number one priority.
Yeah. Nikki, she was being disingenuous. She said she couldn't define what a woman is. Come on. So that's just, the radical Biden nominees, it's just one after another attempting to just put in really radical policies. Like some of his nominees wanted to debank energy companies. Another one said, we're going to just federalize all the banks. Well, that's like the USSR didn't even do that, the Soviet Union. So these are radical people in control in Washington. I'm running because the left is taking over our country. So my name is Carla Sands, and I have a website, carlasands.com. And your listeners can go to our website, and they can sign up to volunteer there. They can support our campaign. I need their help. I'm the only America First candidate in this race who actually has been America First since 2016, who helped Donald Trump get elected and then served in his administration as his U.S. ambassador to Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands, where I worked to counter Russia and China. I worked with the Department of Defense and with NATO, going to both places, doing shuttle diplomacy to secure our region, the high north, Greenland most especially, and an area off from Greenland, but it's close to our northeast coast, from Russia and China. So I worked to counter Russia and China, blocked Chinese-made 5G in Denmark with my great team. We blocked that Russian gas pipeline that everybody's been talking about that goes from Russia to Germany. The only place it never got finished was my area of responsibility. So we were so successful that the Department of Defense gave me their highest civilian honor. It's called the Medal for Distinguished Public Service. We also worked, Nikki, to create jobs here at home. We increased our trade with Denmark while I was the U.S. ambassador over 43%. So we really focused on benefiting the United States, the people of our country, in economically with jobs, but also security, countering our greatest adversaries, China and Russia.
Now, Carla, when you said that you worked with President Trump, how do you explain Trump's now backing Oz and giving Oz his support? I can't figure out one reason for it.
Well, I don't think that President Trump is getting the best advice. And so he knows that I served loyally and never wavered because I knew that the America First policies were the best policies in my lifetime. And I was a Reagan Republican. We had the best employment, the lowest interest. Gasoline was around $2.30, $2.40 a gallon. We had a peaceful southern border. The fentanyl was checked and the illegals were checked at the border. And then we had peace around the world. No new wars started. And economically, women and minorities really thrived the best. Our incomes went up and our employment went up substantially under President Trump. So I believe that those America First policies are winning ways with the voters and that they will reject this guy that got endorsed by President Trump because he doesn't share our values. First of all, he was born in Ohio, but chose to serve in the Turkish military. So he's Turkey first, not America first. He also doesn't share our values in his ideology. He got Jussied. Remember the Jussie Smollett scandal?
Yes.
He literally bought into that. Anyone with a brain knew that that was a hoax and a trick, this guy. Mm-hmm. And then we saw him publicly support transgender minor surgeries, the Black Lives Matter protests, which there was rioting and looting that hurt a lot of small business people. It was not checked by a lot of different mayors and governors, and it should have been. And then we saw him support critical race theory. He's not good on life and the Second Amendment. He said that the CDC should be part of regulating guns. The corrupt CDC, the ones that have been telling us to wear a mask on the planes when everybody said it doesn't do anything.
Well, people were asking about, how long is the CDC going to keep this mask thing up? And I say, as long as it keeps them relevant, because before this, they just didn't seem all that relevant to people. In fact, actually, you would, it would say not approved by the FDA or CDC on the back of a label, and you'd go, oh, well, then it must be good. And now all of a sudden they're relevant. I don't get it.
Yeah, not anymore, Nikki. Not anymore. They've lost us, I think.
Well, I think by this point, yes.
Yeah, I hope that people that want to take our country back to reestablish our constitutional rights and our rule of law and stop the onslaught of leftist attacks on our values and our country and our economy, I hope they'll get behind my campaign, take a hard look at Carla Sands for Senate, carlasands.com, because if they'll get behind me, I'm the strongest conservative in this race. There's another woman running who says she's conservative, but here's the thing. She lost her last race by 20 points in a red wave year. So in other words, we had the best year since 1953 for Republicans in 2020. No incumbent Republican lost, and we won 2 statewide seats. She lost by 20 points. So anytime people say, well, I'm the only one that can win, but they lost their last race by 20, you got to take a hard look at that and say, not a credible fact. You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own fact.
But I really am encouraging people to look up the websites to find out more about the candidates and see where they line up. Now, all your good stuff is on the website, though. It's not like you're going to put anything bad up there.
Well, but here's the thing. We all have a public record, Nikki. I have been America First and put forward America First policies since 2016. So you can check me out. You can check us all out because our record stands, right? It's who we are. And we have 2 guys that are weak Republicans that have not been America First, but they sure sound good now. But you check out their history and what they've supported. The fact is, we need someone who will be an unwavering constitutional vote in Washington, and that will be me. I will always say, is it good for Pennsylvania? Can we afford it? Is it constitutional before I vote? Because we know that the radical left is attempting to really do a takeover of our entire country and take away our freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Last week, they started to come after the guns. They've got 2.5 more years in the White House, the radical Biden administration, and it's an attack against our liberties.
What would be done differently in your eyes? I know we wouldn't let so many people over, but what could we do to help secure these borders better right now?
Well, our border is wide open, and Joe Biden he told us he was going to do this when he was running. I was watching from Copenhagen, working as the U.S. ambassador, watching him say, we're going to open the borders, we're going to ban fracking, and then they were canceling free speech, canceling conservative voices on social media, which we know is the town square. It's the public square now because certainly during the pandemic, it was clear. That's how we talked to our friends and how we did our business, how we learned even. So the border, we have to secure the border and build the wall. And the wall wasn't the idea of President Trump. It was asked for by the Border Patrol. They said there are areas we need a wall because we don't have control of our border. We know that there is fentanyl coming in from China to Mexico. It's packaged there, and then it's brought over our wide open border, and it's the #1 killer of our youth in America. And this fentanyl is another kind of asymmetrical war by China on America. And it's unconscionable that a U.S. president would not say, well, gee, the #1 killer of our children, let's secure that border, close it down, and stop the fentanyl from coming in.
People say that there are other ways that it's coming in and that some of it is manufactured in the United States. I've seen all the arguments on that, believe me. Yes,
of course there are other sources, but the majority of the ingredients are coming from communist China. Actually, Xi Jinping was told by President Trump, stop sending fentanyl to our country. And so Xi told the companies, don't send it to the U.S., but they've sent it to Mexico.
Oh, all right. I got to go to our Bloomberg Money Minute. Listeners are sending in some texts. We'll get to those coming up. All right. Carla Sands for Senate. Carla Sands for Senate. CarlaSands.com. That is her website, WILK.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Shares of Netflix plunged
what you've been doing, and I still had your name wrong, and I feel bad about that.
No worries, Nikki. No worries. I wanted to share something with your listeners, if it's okay.
Yes.
I wanted to just tell them that I grew up in South Central Pennsylvania in Cumberland County. I'm the oldest of 7 kids from a really faith-filled home, and I'm pro-life, and I'm pro-First Amendment and pro-Second Amendment. I'm a constitutional conservative. I'm America First. And I'm also a Christian and a businesswoman and a mom. And my family roots are in Western PA, and they fought in the American Revolution and in the Civil War. And this is our time to fight for the heart and soul of our great country. And I want to bring opportunity back to Pennsylvania because I don't think we've been on a good trajectory. I remember those thriving small towns throughout our Commonwealth as I was growing up, and I watched them start to hollow out even in the 80s. They began to diminish in population. Companies and jobs moved away, often to Asia. And really, our skilled workforce were just devastated. One wage earner could support a family and have a car and a TV and a good life. And now I see 2 earners scraping together to get by. And then we have the Biden inflation attacking their wages because we know it's like a tax. We see the price of everything going up. I will be Pennsylvania's energy senator and bring energy opportunity to Pennsylvania. And where the counties have banned the fracking, I think we're going to need a kind of Operation Warp Speed to override the overreach of government, that illegal taking of opportunity for people that live just in the wrong county where next door they can frack, but in this county they can't. It's not right. And I think we do not want to import Russian energy. We need to do it domestically. And so I'm calling for bringing back American energy independence and even dominance with an Operation Warp Speed. So we harvest, we do it cleaner here than anywhere in the world. We lay the pipes. We have to do it in a kind of special government way so we can force New York to allow Pennsylvania natural gas to go power New England, because today they're heating their homes with Russian energy. It's not right.
Thank you very much for that. And you have a good point there. We have somebody wondering if there's going to be any debates.
Yes, we have debates. The next one is coming up. They're coming fast and furious. If you go online, you'll find the debates coming up. I think next Monday is the next debate, and then we have them in rapid fire. There's a bunch coming up, and most of them will be televised, some on PCN. I know Newsmax is doing one with me and Oz and McCormick coming up in early May. And if voters will get behind me, if they want to bring back the glory of Pennsylvania and they want to reestablish our Constitution as the guiding light, I'll always fight for them, and I'll never back down, Nikki.
I understand. I understand. Somebody wants to know what a safe Second Amendment supporter is.
Someone that's going to give no quarter. Here's the problem. The left is they're relentless. They're always on the march to take away our liberties and transform us into a kind of, I think, totalitarian state, much like China and less like America. And so we give no quarter. I will not back any infringement on our Second Amendment rights. It's very important to Pennsylvania and to the United States that we do not give a quarter, because what happens is we give an inch and tomorrow they're taking another inch. So I think it's time for people who love our country to be on the offense and let the left compromise for a while. You know, I have a faith coalition. We have 50 pastors across our Commonwealth that are backing our campaign, and we know that people of faith have been largely in their churches and raising their kids and taking care of their business. It's time for us to come out of the churches and out of our homes and businesses and be that salt and light to the world that we're called to be, to reestablish the Judeo-Christian heritage that our country was founded on. We have to be a moral and religious people in order for our laws to work. That's what our founders said. We need to get back to our roots, and I think that will be the pivot point to bring back the glory of America and Pennsylvania, that renaissance that we're due.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Another question for you. I've seen some of the other candidates come through the area here in Northeast PA. We've seen McCormick here. We've seen Oz here. Kathy Barnett has been here at least twice. Have you visited Northeast PA? Why are they so quiet about it?
Over and over. Yes, I've visited over and over. We visited a college there. I'm trying to think of the Wilkes University.
Mm-hmm.
We visited other businesses in the area and restaurants, of course, and we've had a wonderful time. I spoke at churches and we had rallies in the region, and we'll be back over and over. You can watch on my social media if you follow me on social media, Carla Sands for Senate. You can see I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and I'm building Instagram, but we kind of ignored it, but you have to be everywhere. So please follow me, and you can see where we've been and where we're going. This is a grassroots campaign. It's a lot of folks of faith because they understand what's at stake here, that this is not just a physical battle for our country. It's also a spiritual battle.
Somebody said, we need to see and hear more of Carla Sands in this area. I'm afraid people are not exposed to these candidates.
Well, I would love to be more exposed in your area. And so when I'm there, I'm talking about energy, how it's unfair that certain counties in Pennsylvania are not able to harvest energy when we know we do it the cleanest in the world right here. And we know we have enough energy in the ground right here in Pennsylvania to power the entire United States for over 300 years. That's a game changer. I like that kind of green transition because we know our air is cleaner today. Our CO2 emissions are down today because of our natural gas. Of course, we still use clean coal. We're using nuclear, but we want to make sure that we benefit from all that natural gas in the ground, and then now we're doing carbon capture, another opportunity to bring business and good jobs to Pennsylvania, the hydrogen energy that's coming from our natural gas, and then we have out west that cracker plant. Well, maybe we should have one in the east too, because those are great skill jobs too, where one earner can support a family and very well. It's important that we build opportunity here in Pennsylvania so people don't move away for opportunity. And this is a trend. We've got to reverse it. We just lost a congressional seat. In 2019, the best economic year of my lifetime, Pennsylvania lost $1.7 billion of GDP because families and companies voted with their feet and moved away. Let's bring them back with opportunity. That's what I'll do, working with whoever is elected governor. I hope we get a Republican governor that can help build our Commonwealth back to its greatness, its potential, because we are second only to Texas in our natural resources. There's no reason except for leadership. We need strong America First leadership to right the ship of Pennsylvania.
You can look her up and find out more about what she has to say on these issues at carlasands.com. Rain tax. Are you familiar with the rain tax?
Tell me about the rain tax.
The rain tax is the runoff, because of the runoff going into the Chesapeake, that places are being... I'm trying to put this in a simple term. Where the runoff is coming from, like the parking lot areas and stuff, people are being taxed at a very high amount for those areas. It's called something. I know there's another name for it, but everybody refers to it as the rain tax, and that's all I remember it as.
Yeah, I've heard it mentioned, Nikki. I haven't paid a lot of attention to it, but here's the thing. Pennsylvania, at the state level, has to stop overtaxing and over-regulating businesses. That's why people are leaving, because they make it so darn hard to make a living, run a business. You have to be a gigantic company just to have enough lawyers to comply with all the regulations. So what I hope is that Pennsylvania will do the smart thing and elect an electable governor for November, an electable governor, someone who can win in November against Shapiro. So don't vote with your heart, vote with your head. Someone who can beat Shapiro in November elect them as governor, and we're going to reduce those regulations and reduce the taxes and make Pennsylvania the magnet it should be for business.
Carla, I thank you so much for checking in with us today. I want you to come back on before we get to this primary coming up in just a few weeks.
Thank you. And can I just say, your listeners can go to my website, carlasands.com. I need their help. If they'll volunteer, because we have a grassroots campaign, and we're based in central Pennsylvania, but we have supporters throughout the Commonwealth, so we can connect them with someone in their area if they'd like to do door knocking or phone banking, distribute signs. And if they can contribute, we'd be so grateful for that. We can't do it alone. We need their help, Nikki.
And we will talk to you again. Thank you so much. CarlaSands.com is the website to check out. WILK AM 103.1 FM. Paula with the news. Thanks, Carla. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
WILK FM HD.